Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking directly to you, the executive leaders out there who are trying to make sense of an increasingly chaotic and complex landscape. For decades, right, we've all treated strategy like it's a static plan, like it's a fixed destination on a map that we just have to march toward. But what if that entire way of thinking is fundamentally flawed? Today, we're going to unpack a profound shift. It's called Implied Strategy Engineering, and it's all about moving away from those rigid, outdated plans and instead continuously reading reality. It's about engineering your organization to actually sense what the situation affords you, right in the present moment. So let me kick things off with a question that might sting just a little bit. Are you optimizing for the wrong strategic gap? Think about it. For years, management teams have completely obsessed over the classic strategy execution gap. We try to close it with tighter alignment, strict OKRs, and rigorous top-down cascades. But if your initial plan is wrong, or if the market has already shifted underneath your feet, does optimizing your execution actually help? Or does it just accelerate your failure? Because honestly, running really fast in the wrong direction isn't a win. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We've got 5 key areas. 1. The wrong strategy gap. 2. Reading your implied strategy. 3. The 3 strategic sensors. 4. Expressed strategy for AI. And 5. Speed of correction wins. Let's get into it. All right, section 1. The wrong strategy gap and why we are often measuring the completely wrong variable. We really need to look at how traditional strategy metrics are basically just lagging indicators of execution. They aren't actually sensors of reality at all. Think about the old metrics we're all used to: plan adherence, budget compliance. Those metrics just answer the question, did we do what we intended to do? You're essentially just running a quality control check on the output of a piece of paper. What you should be asking, the new metric, is, wait, should we still be doing this at all? The whole top-down command and control transmission model of strategy, it's literally breaking under the weight of modern complexity. The absolute crucial point here is understanding the difference between 2 very specific gaps. We have spent decades and honestly billions of dollars trying to close the planning gap, which is just the distance between what you wish to do and what you're actually doing. But the gap that actually matters, that's the opportunity gap. This is the distance between what your organization is currently doing and the best available move your situation actually affords you right now. And here's the catch. Closing the opportunity gap requires reading capacity, not just execution capacity. Moving on to section 2, reading your implied strategy, or what we call the reality tripod. To actually close that opportunity gap, we have to recognize that every single team in your organization holds 3 very different observable types of strategy all at once, whether leadership can see them or not. We call this the reality tripod. First up, the wished strategy. This is your declared intent. It's the bowl on the fancy PowerPoint slide. Second is the real strategy. Now, this isn't what people say they're doing. It's the traces revealed by where the actual decisions, attention, and resource flows go. And third, we have the implied strategy. This is the smartest, most viable move the situation affords right now. And it is absolutely vital to understand that this implied strategy, it's not a fixed destination. It's a traveling point. It exists as a marker of opportunity that moves exactly as the market and the situation move. It's really a spatial balancing act. The implied strategy sits right at the center of the opportunity gap, reacting dynamically to your internal constraints, your external constraints, and those newly emerging opportunities. It's this continuous, live balancing act between what you want, your wish, what you can actually do, and the reality of what you are doing. Strategy in this sense is an emergent property. It's what naturally becomes visible when an organization is finally able to read its own situation honestly. Section 3, the 3 strategic sensors. Let's talk about how to actually engineer your reading capacity. So if the bottleneck is your organization's ability to read reality, how do we engineer the right instrumentation? Well, your first sensor is conversational debt. Think of this as the organizational equivalent of technical debt. It's all those messy, difficult conversations that simply aren't happening. It piles up wherever conflicting goals go unresolved, and it compounds, right? Because future decisions get built right on top of those unspoken tensions. Want to know the active signal of this dangerous debt? It's that moment when a project blows up, and your team quietly mutters, "Yeah, we totally knew this was coming." Clearing this conversational debt is absolutely your highest leverage starting point. Our second sensor is the delay of surprise. This is exactly what it sounds like, the time between a change in reality becoming knowable to the organization and it actually becoming actionable by the right decision makers. The longer it takes for reality to travel up through your hierarchy to the people who can actually pull the trigger, the narrower your window of opportunity becomes. And the cool thing is, by tracking timestamps across incidents, you can practically measure this delay. When you have a really long delay of surprise, it creates structural blindness. Your organization literally becomes a deer in the headlights. The warning signals are there, for sure, but you just can't route them fast enough. And that is exactly where complexity signals go to die. Think about Nokia, right? They saw the signals early, but they just couldn't act on them. You almost never fail from a lack of signals. You fail from a total inability to act on what you already sense. And the third sensor is wasted opportunity. This is the value you lose when perfectly viable moves never surface. It's the institutional friction that locks you out of your available opportunity set. If you measure this, say through post-decision retrospectives, and you find high wasted opportunity consistently pointing in one specific direction, well, that proves your organization is actually centered somewhere completely different than where your corporate slides claim it is.
All right, section 4, express strategy for AI. This is the catch-22 of readability.
If you actually want to leverage AI in your business, your organization must be readable. And readability? That comes entirely from how each node, each team, articulates what it thinks it's doing. This is a massive paradigm shift. Listen to this. AI does not work with your intentions. It only works with your articulations. If you apply AI to a completely unreadable organization that's bogged down by massive conversational debt, you don't get magic. You just amplify the noise. AI is basically a compiler. It needs your underlying work to be explicit and readable. So let's look at how teams actually express themselves. You generally see 3 modes. First is compliance mode. Teams express what is wished. They say, hey, I am delivering what was asked of me. This is what companies usually reward. Then there's drift mode, where they express the real, saying, I'm just describing what I am actually doing, often because the official plan is secretly totally irrelevant. And finally, there's the defiant or black market mode. Here, teams express the implied strategy. Common sense has literally gone underground. They say, I am doing what the situation demands, even if it isn't officially sanctioned. This perfectly highlights the preach-practice paradox. Leaders publicly demand strict compliance, but quietly, they base their real actions on those implied signals. We've got to bring this out of the black market. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Speed of Correction Wins, the absolute ultimate metric. We are shifting the focus entirely away from just executing static plans and moving toward continuous reading. If you take nothing else away today, let it be this defining principle. Speed of correction beats speed of execution. An organization that reads reality continuously, surfaces its hidden tensions, and corrects its course fast will dramatically outlast and outperform an organization that declares a static strategy and then flawlessly executes it right off a cliff. Your most important metric is no longer delivery speed. It's how incredibly fast your system can realize it's wrong and adjust. I want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. Take a really close look at your own operations. Ask yourself, is your organization built merely for alignment and stability, just forcing compliance to a static, outdated plan? Or is it truly engineered for continuous recentering? Is it balancing in motion, actively clearing conversational debt, and relentlessly pursuing the implied strategy? To survive and thrive today, you literally must become a better reader of your own situation. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.